Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. And today's a pretty interesting one that I've been wanting to talk to you guys that probably most of you have been begging me to watch for like so long now. And that, my friends, is this year's anticipated horror movie, Weapons. So for those who don't know about that film, Weapons follows this small community in this town of Maybrook, Pennsylvania, who one day a teacher's classroom has had a massive problem. And basically 17 kids disappeared. They walked out of their homes at 2:17 a.m. in the morning and they were never seen again. Now, the first time I've heard of a film like that concept, I was like really shocked of how like this of a movie that would be into when it was first announced. However, as I dove deep in the movie, I began to understand how much this will be much of an interesting movie to check out because, for those who don't know, this movie is directed by Zach Cregger, who you may know for directing the acclaimed horror hit Barbarian back in 2022. Not only he directed well, this movie features an abundance of well-known actors and actors. There's Julia Garner, who you may know for playing the female Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four First Steps. She plays the teacher Justine Gandy, who's basically the teacher of that missing classroom of kids. Another MCU star is Josh Brolin, who plays one of the kids' fathers, who plays Archer Gareth, and he does a pretty outstanding performance. I mean, even outside the MCU, Josh Brolin does fantastic acting, in my opinion. But anywho, let's get to like some of the things I appreciate. So, it's kind of like a mystery horror film, and it's like something out of the Twilight Zone a bit. And there's some few key things. For starters, this movie shot in like different perspectives, which means we get to see some 6 people that are like in this story that connect to that story, like in their perspectives, what led up to that moment. I've seen it before, and I imagine, and it was previously shown in the video game The Last of Us Part 2. So that was where we follow the perspective of Ellie as he goes after Abby, and then we see Abby's perspective. We follow what's been happening for the past few days. That kind of concept's pretty cool in my opinion, and I find myself enjoyable of that. So let's talk about some of the other actors. So not only I mentioned the 2 other actors, but there's also Benedict Wong, who you playing Wong in the Marvel universe. He does a pretty good performance of it, and he has some great scenes and moments, especially one scene where he goes completely crazy, and that was shocking my theater. This film has so much mystery and some horror in it, but it's not too big on the whole supernatural side, thank goodness. I find myself invested in that film. I'm just locked in. I know what's gonna happen. What's going on. And then we follow different points. This feels like, oh, who is this guy? And then when it finally connects to the other story, I'm like, oh, this led to this and that, and so on. And the build-up's a bit slow, but it eventually gets the good part later on in the second half of the movie, which I find thoroughly interesting. This movie had a great cast and assembled, and not to mention there's this kid actor who did an amazing performance, and I imagine he'll definitely earn some award sign for his best performance. Kind of like the actor who played Georgie in Stephen King's It, that 2017 film. I just imagine he'd be winning the same award, in my opinion. But anyway, there were some moments in the film that have had me a bit off, what's gonna happen next? Do I have to wait here for this? But anyways, it got to that moment, and there were a few great things. I enjoyed it, and I just want to let you guys know about this video. And I think it's visually amazing how Zach Cregger has managed to capture a suspenseful horror mystery movie and And as fate would have it, he's going to be directing next year's Resident Evil movie, which is not going to be connected to games at all, but it's like a whole different story. And I'm excited to see how he'll do that. I am really hoping that'll be better than the other Resident Evil movies we got in the past couple of years, especially the Paul W.S. Anderson films and Sony's attempted remake of one of them. But anywho, I guess that's pretty much it. I gotta talk to you about weapons, and I really hope you guys enjoy the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And oh, one last thing to like the cast of weapons and the crew. You guys did amazing. Really proud of your hard work. And Zach Cregger, I'm looking forward to a Resident Evil movie next year, and it'll be awesome. But anyways, enough of that. I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you all next video. Goodbye.